on your EPFA news. We get an insight into one of France's clubs with a long history from its humble beginnings. Another player from England tells us of his journey through his youth with power chair football. Again, we are privileged to feature friends from around the world with not just one guest this time, but 2 guests from down under. And we round up what has been happening around Europe with our members and some inevitable disappointing news. Welcome. This is EPFA News. We begin today's EPFA News with one of France's clubs that is very much built from a group of lifelong friends.
Bonjour, je suis Grégory Gervais, du coup joueur dans l'équipe, gardien de but, mais aussi président des Grizzlies Foot Fauteuil Limoges Coudex. Du coup, les Grizzlies, ça a été créé dans les années 90 dans la structure de l'IM de Coudex avec monsieur Joël Barrière. Donc, il y a une équipe en 92 et en 2010, on est devenu un club autonome. Ils ont commencé la compétition en 91 et on a eu plusieurs résultats, notamment un titre de champion de France de D2. Et dans les années 2010, on a décidé de créer un club autonome, les Grizzlies Foot Fauteuil. Et donc ça fait 10 ans que notre club est indépendant. En ce moment, les Grizzlies, ça représente une dizaine de joueurs, une équipe inscrite en championnat et 15 bénévoles autour de nous qui nous entourent et nous permettent de faire les déplacements quand on a des déplacements. Pour les Grizzlies, on espère dans l'immédiat, dans les prochaines saisons, monter d'un niveau. Et le rêve ultime des Grizzlies, enfin que j'ai pour les Grizzlies, c'est d'être l'organisateur de la Coupe d'Europe de foot fauteuil. Ça permettrait de médiatiser notre club et de ce sport qui est vraiment passionnant et très très intéressant. Donc depuis les années 2010, on est autonome. Ça fait 10 ans que le club des Grizzlies Foot Fauteuil Limoges Coudex existe. Et cette saison, on a 10 joueurs inscrits en compétition. Et on a aussi quelques licences loisirs. Voilà, on s'entraîne 2 fois par semaine, en temps normal, les mardis et mercredis.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Sébastien Lagarde, alias Bouchon, et je suis défenseur au sein de l'équipe. Alors actuellement, les Grizzlies sont au sein de la division 3 au niveau du championnat de France, c'est-à-dire qu'on est en 3e division. Et du coup, nous, en ce qui concerne les normes de notre sport, en fait c'est un sport qui se pratique en fauteuil électrique. Et devant il y a un pare-choc qui sert à pousser la balle avec un ballon qui fait 33 cm de diamètre. Mais sinon il y a les mêmes caractéristiques que le foot normal, c'est-à-dire qu'il y a des touches, il y a des corners, il y a des coups francs. Et c'est aussi un sport qui est arbitré par des arbitres. Notre division, il y a actuellement 7 équipes au sein de notre division. Oui, on a été en première division durant 4 années consécutives. Par rapport au confinement de la saison dernière, c'est vrai que niveau sportivement un peu mal, parce que du coup on était privé de terrain et on avait un petit peu d'entraînement. Mais toutefois l'association a quand même continué à vivre, parce qu'en fait on a fait vivre notre réseaux sociaux, on a quand même vendu des objets à l'effigie de notre club pour quand même financer les réparations, les frais de gestion du club et pour aussi préparer les saisons à venir.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Simon Hainaut et je suis milieu chez les Grizzlies. Mes espoirs pour 2021, déjà, c'est de pouvoir repratiquer le sport quand on veut, en fait, pas à des moments précis par rapport au Covid, au couvre-feu et tout ce qui se passe. Mais aussi de pouvoir retrouver la compétition et ainsi que retrouver du public pendant les compétitions, parce que c'est quelque chose d'énorme dans le fauteuil. Quand on a un bon public qui pousse derrière, ben, ça permet de créer des espoirs. Et après, les moments les plus excitants au fauteuil, c'est déjà quand on rentre sur le terrain, aussi de pratiquer le foot, de pratiquer ce sport qui est pour nous une passion, je pense. Jouer devant du public, mais aussi savoir faire des passes, du moins savoir aider ses coéquipiers à marquer ou même marquer. Et voilà. Je me rappelle bien, j'ai marqué, il me semble, 7 buts et 14 passes D.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Issam et je suis attaquant au sein du club. Nous sont Niort, Bordeaux, Nantes.
Alors, je suis Jérémy Morisset, coach des Grizzlies Foot Fauteuil. Alors moi, il y en a un qui me marque tout particulièrement, c'est Momo qui joue en équipe de France. Malgré son handicap assez lourd, et c'est pour moi l'un des meilleurs joueurs au monde. Il est vraiment très bon. Alors le capitaine Greg, moi personnellement, ça fait 30 ans que je le connais, donc en fait on est tous des amis en fait dans ce club, plus que des coéquipiers. Donc il y a Greg est ami d'enfance, Bouchon est ami d'enfance, enfin Sébastien du coup. Donc voilà, c'est un club de copains et voilà. Alors Greg avec l'expérience qu'il a, il a un très bon niveau pour de la D3, même pour la D2. Ils ont un très bon niveau. Bouchon a un très bon niveau aussi. Sylvain a un potentiel pour jouer en D2. Donc là, on joue en D3, mais il a un potentiel pour jouer en D2. Ils ont tous plus ou moins de potentiel, malgré certains qui sont assez handicapés, quoi. Alors en fait, au foot fauteuil, il y a 4 postes clés. Il y a le poste 1, il y a le poste 2, le poste 3 et le gardien. Le poste 1 va être l'équivalent d'un milieu de terrain. Le poste 2 va être un intermédiaire. Et le poste 3 va être plus l'attaquant, voire le finisseur. Et donc le gardien qui est Greg, principalement dans ce club.
Another example of a player with grit and determination to go far in the sport.
I started with some kickabout stuff, and then my mum and dad surprised me by taking me to a higher end kind of proper power chair football thing, and then it kind of kicked off from there, really.
And how long have you been?
I made my debut at 10, and it's been 8 years going strong.
Can you tell?
I play for West Bromwich Albion Fossils that are based in Birmingham, which I have to travel to. All the staff and players are really supportive. The regional league is a really competitive regional league. Like anything can happen, like anyone can beat anyone really. And then the Premiership is the highest, like the best of the teams in England. So it's best of the best.
And what do you?
I like the competition and playing new / high up players just for the challenge, you know, make sure I'm sharp. My most memorable match is a regional game against Villa Rockets. and it was a derby because it's West Brom v Villa, and I happened to score 8 goals, but the team chemistry that day was just amazing. Like, we were passing it left, right and centre, was everywhere. Like, whoever was in them positions would have scored. Like, whatever we ate for breakfast that day was just great. Like any player, I'd like to represent my country at the highest level. Because then you get to play different players, obviously different countries and that. The player I admire the most is Marcus Harrison. I played him in my first game, and he was the first kind of proper good player I played against. And I've tried to kind of watch him as I've gone on. And I'm lucky now that he plays for the West Bromwich Albion first team, so I can actually watch him in training to see his work ethic and that, so it really helps. In my free time, I like to play Xbox with my friend, like just FIFA or something. I like to watch NBA basketball, like the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron. I've recently been trying to learn some Italian and Spanish. I've tried to look into some sporting legends recently, like whether it's NFL, F1, other stuff. So yeah. My hopes for 2021 are to get back to football because I'm missing the competition, the camaraderie, and just a bit of banter really, just missing the fun parts as well.
Let's take some positivity from 2 players down under in Australia who are back playing power chair football competitively and whose country seems to have got on top of the virus at an early stage.
Hi, my name's Jason Lewis and I'm the President of the Western Australian Power Chair Football Association, or WAPFA. Our club first started in 2012 and so we've been going for the past 9 years. We've got disability organisations here and they're not the most inclusive, so we felt that we had to start our own organisation to make it fully inclusive for all disabilities to be able to play power chair football. Just a little bit more about the club and how we run. We've got one dedicated coach who volunteers his time. He's actually bought himself a Strikeforce wheelchair that he can get into and help us train and improve our skills, and that's been really noticeable throughout the whole entire group. Since he started coaching us, our skills have really improved and got up to a higher level. Not everyone has a Strikeforce. We do have guys that come down in their day chairs when we get them into a spare chair that we have. We got one spare down there, so they can get in and have a go and experience what it's like to actually be in a Strikeforce. Our aim is to get more Strikeforces that we can have so these guys can jump in the chairs and play a little bit more permanently until they get their funding through to buy, to purchase their own Strikeforce, so they can come down to training sessions all the time instead of having to share those sessions with others just waiting to get their chairs as well. We try and develop and attract new players to the club all the time. Our biggest need is to get more players down, and we do this by having come and try days, or we'll go and play exhibition games at other centres throughout WA, mainly across Perth. We're starting to now just try and branch out to some regional areas to try and get those guys out in the countries coming to play in maybe hopefully a tournament here in Perth. So that's one of our big goals, to do that, and it's just really hard, to attract these new players to the club. We do try and reach out through our other social medias, such as Facebook, internet on the website, Twitter, Instagram. So hopefully we'll be able to get more players down. We don't have any qualified referees here in Perth at the moment, although we do have one qualified classifier and she got her qualification last year, so hopefully she might be able to put that into practice in the up and coming tournaments that we have in the eastern states later on this year. This past year has been quite tumultuous. We got off to a great start at our club championships for the first time. We finished in the top 4, so and then having to come back and then go into lockdown for 3 months, it was quite hard to kind of comprehend and deal with, especially what the world was going through at the time. I guess being here in Perth in Western Australia, we're very fortunate really that we haven't had to go into lockdown for too long, and after 3 months we're back playing sport again. So we really do feel for you guys throughout Europe, and you've been in lockdown for so long, and it's still very, very relevant and quite dangerous for you guys to be heading out to the public right now. So our thoughts and hearts go out to you guys, and hopefully you can get back out there as soon as you can to get back into playing power chair football. We know it's good for your mental health as well as your physical well-being, and so just take care, guys, and you'll be out there as soon as anything. So just keep up your spirits and just stay with it. I've watched the European League. It's a great competition to follow. It's mainly the your league competitions, the European Championships that I've watched, and that's just a fantastic platform for us guys to be able to watch and learn from. That that's the level that we need to get to, and it's something for us to achieve and strive for. So it's great vision for us, and we can just all learn from that, and we take away from that, and that's how we're all only going to improve and better our games here by watching and learning, and then coming out and putting it into practice on the courts here. So big sneaky thank you to all you guys and giving us some video help back here in WA. But we all need the help, and that's the best thing about the power chair football community. Nobody's scared to help others out and to teach them how to play this great game. So hopefully one day they can be playing at the highest level. Some of the guys that I get impressed by is you've got guys like John Boulding, you've got Gordon and Bates as well. That's just some of these guys. You've got Harrison. Your English team's a fantastic team to watch. They're well structured, and they've got a great little game plan going on there as well. And that's just it's great vision for us, like I said before, and it's really enjoyable to watch. Especially the way you guys set up in your structures and how well you are performing on court, as well as how well you guys do work as a team as well. It's very relevant to see, and it's great just to watch how you guys set up your structure and your team plays. We're really hoping that the World Cup in 22 will still go ahead. Obviously, depending if COVID is still around by then, hopefully not, and everyone can get here and we can watch the top 10 players in the world come together and battle it out. I believe it's going to do great things for Australian power chair football. I think we're going to get a lot of exposure and a lot more people wanting to come down and watch and wanting to come and play this great game after they've seen it. So hopefully it will boost our playing numbers for the future, and it will definitely increase the awareness of the sport throughout Australia. And that can only mean bigger and better things for all the players and the clubs around Australia. So let's just hope that it still goes ahead and everyone can travel safely and compete as hard as they can. In the future, our club would like to hopefully be able to host competitions here. That's one of our biggest goals, is to hold a club championships or a nationals here in Perth. It would be really exciting for us to do that here. Obviously, attract more people to the game, more people are seeing it, the more awareness we get. So that would just be fantastic for us. And also just to bring everyone together here in WA and let them see WA for those who haven't seen it. And it's just an exciting event to hold. So that's one of our big things here in the future for us. And also just to have more clubs in local competitions playing at a higher level, and just even just to have the number base would be fantastic here. So that's our hopes for 2021, and we just hope that everyone stays safe and is keeping well throughout the rest of the world and the power chair football community. We all know and understand that everybody is vulnerable through these times, So we just wish the best for everybody. So stay safe out there, everyone, and hopefully we'll all see you in 22 when you come to Australia to compete. Thanks, guys. See ya.
We hear now from another of the players from the Western Australian Power Chair Football Association who is a big fan of our European Power Chair football and our leagues and competitions.
WA Power Chair Football Association first started in 2012 as an informal group of wheelchair users playing power chair football. Most players back then came to power chair football having played the other power chair sports available in Perth, including hockey and rugby. Everyone played in day chairs and there was no real professional league or matches. It's slowly grown over the years, especially in professionalism. Because of the small nature of the club, we have had a lot of different teams over the years. The first team to compete in the national competition was the Western Australian state team in 2012, which was comprised of 3 Perth players and 2 interstate players. The Perth Glory team, who attended the 2019 Australian Club Championships, was the first time we've had enough players to be able to compete to a national tournament comprised of all Perth players. The club has been playing power chair football for around 8 years now, but some of our players could be playing a lot longer than that, including our club president Jason Lewis, who has been playing for around 12 years. Our club currently has around 6 players, with one of those being our coach Justin, who purchased his own Strikeforce chair. We also have a few juniors in the background as well. We currently train 1 to 2 times a week at the Loftus Recreation Centre in Liverpool. We are very fortunate that the Loftus Centre donates the core hire cost to enable us to train and play at the centre. Not everyone has a Strikeforce, but one of our past players donated his Strikeforce to the club to enable new players to play in a Strikeforce until they are able to get their own. This means that when we play, everyone on the court is in a Strikeforce and on a level playing field. It hasn't always been like this though. It was only a couple of years ago that we have played matches with players in day chairs. In Australia, we are very lucky that the National Disability Insurance Scheme has started funding Strikeforce for players, which has enabled players to get chairs more easily. We do find attracting players quite difficult, particularly as we only have 1 spare Strikeforce for new players to try and use. We definitely find that the easiest way to attract new players is to get them in the Strikeforce, trying out the sport for themselves. Once they get in a chair and try the sport, most people are hooked. We don't currently have any official referees or classifiers, but one member of our club, Sydney, recently took a classifying course at the 2019 EPFA Cup, and so we hope to have a fully qualified classifier amongst our ranks very soon. We have been very fortunate in Australia in regards to COVID, particularly here in Western Australia. In Perth, we locked down for a short while from around March to the end of May, during which time there was no football as everyone was in forced lockdown. After being released from lockdown, WA went for almost 10 months without any community transmission. This meant we were able to enjoy quite a bit of freedom and get back to training power chair football from mid-2020. We did have one community case a few weeks ago, which forced a 5-day lockdown, but thankfully there was no further spread and we are now back on the court training and playing. It is very sad to see how bad the situation is in Europe and other parts of the world regarding COVID. I can only imagine how much players in Europe and other parts of the world want to get back on the court and to kick the ball around. It definitely makes me feel very fortunate to live in Australia and to have had such tight restrictions regarding COVID, which has enabled us to be in the positive position that we are in today. I hope that the vaccination programs that are happening around the world will mean it won't be too long before we are all back on the court and enjoying power chair football. I definitely do watch the various European leagues, and I would challenge anyone to find an online video of power chair football that I haven't yet watched. I use the online videos to learn about the game and to learn new tactics and tricks. It's also cool to watch and see how other teams and countries play, because styles of play definitely differ between different teams. I can't wait till the different European leagues get back up and running so we all have new power chair football content to watch. There's so many impressive European players that it's hard to pick just one that impresses me. Obviously, John Boldy and Chris Gordon are very impressive. They are very good at faking out the opposition and coming up with ingenious plays. Momo Galami is also very impressive too. I can certainly say that I've learned a lot of one-on-one skills from watching him play. As a P1 player, I also admire the skills that players like Marcus Harrison and Brad Bates bring to the game. It certainly proves that being a P1 player is no excuse for not being able to be a key player in a team. England definitely would have won the EPFA Nations Cup without the superb goals from Marcus Harrison. Finally, I also admire Ava McNichol and Eva O'Sullivan from Ireland. As someone who started playing around the time of the 2017 World Cup, and as the only female at my club at the time, and still one of the rare female athletes in Australia, it was encouraging to see other females competing at such a high level. I will always remember my coach telling me to go back and watch the Irish World Cup matches, saying, "See those Irish girls? You need to be as aggressive as that." I very much hope that the World Cup will happen in 2022. Although I think it's still early days and a lot can happen between now and then, it's promising that the vaccine could mean an end to the pandemic at the level we're currently seeing it, which would be good for the chances of a 2022 World Cup. As someone who has been selected to try out for the Australian World Cup team, I also hope selfishly that it goes ahead so that I have a chance to try out for the team and potentially compete at a World Cup, which would be my ultimate dream come true. It will be incredible for Australia to host the 2022 World Cup. It will mean putting Australia on the world stage and showcasing just how incredible this sport really is. From an Australian standpoint, it also means being able to invite people to see the global reach that this sport has. It will definitely be an exciting event, and even if I don't make the World Cup team, it will be nice to be able to attend and watch the World Cup in my own backyard. After the Perth Road Power Chair team reached our first semi-final appearance at the 2020 Australian Club Championships, I think we are all hungry to match that. That appearance happened with a marquee Kingston State player, so our goal would be to match that result with an all-Perth team. In the short term, I think we would also like to grow the sport here in Perth. At the moment, we don't have enough players to play a proper 4-on-4 match, so to attract more players and get back to playing rather than training in scratch matches would be great. For 2021, I hope to see our club be able to grow and attract more players, which will then see us be able to increase the professionalism and quality of our league. I also hope to be able to captain our team to a finals appearance at the next Australian Club Championships. From a personal point of view, I hope to be selected for the Australian team to compete at the 2022 World Cup. This will be the ultimate dream of mine. If successful, I'll be the first Western Australian player to make an Australian World Cup team, and also the first female Australian to compete at a World Cup too, which I think will be a very cool feat to have achieved. Overall though, I'd like to see 2021 be a year that is much better than 2020, with more time on court for everyone and a healthier and safer world. with me, I encourage you to reach out to me through my public Facebook or Instagram pages. You can find me by searching Baby Evans. I hope you're all safe and well, and that we will all be back on court very soon.
EPFA recently contacted the 10 teams who were due to take part in the proposed rescheduled EPFA Champions Cup in Geneva in August this year, to inform them that a decision was taken to cancel the competition. As the vaccine rollouts continue at a different pace across Europe, there was still too many unknowns about variants and international travel to be able to give assurances. Austria are back with another round of online activity with a number of Friday interactive workshops beginning on March 5th. The Association of Irish Power Chair Football recently had an in-conversation evening with 2 senior internationals from the Republic of Ireland's women's national team. The Scottish Power Chair Football Association also recently had some online activity in collaboration with Scottish Sports Futures and Scotland's Mental Health, with some workshops preparing for motivation and dealing with pressure when it is safe to return to play. In France, the Foot Fatal TV continued to link up players from around the country and stay connected until competition can once again return.
Sur Foot Fauteuil France TV, bienvenue. C'est votre émission qui est de retour plus que du foot fauteuil, et pour ce 5e numéro, toujours le même principe. Une première partie qui s'intéresse au foot fauteuil et une seconde partie qui s'intéresse à la vie en dehors du foot de nos invités.
And finally, in England, the Wheelchair Football Association continued to offer some great online activities around coaching workshops, delivered in conjunction with the English FA Football for All and the National Lottery Community Fund. Remember, get in contact with EPFA News at the email below, and until next time, take care.